Hi, I'm Pastor Matt from Hot Topics, and today's hot topic is, of course, about children. I'm here on a playground, and I thought it was kind of fitting to be talking today about abortion specifically, especially with what's going on right now in the news with the Supreme Court and overturning Roe versus Wade. I think it's important to look at what God has to say about abortion. I know that we hear a lot on the news, you hear a lot about protesters and social media and what everybody else is saying, but what does God have to say about abortion? And I think that's important because God is the giver of life. God is the source of life. And a lot of times we think, well, the mom, she has rights to her body. She is the giver of life. But in reality, it's God that gives her that life and opens up her womb. So that's important to understand when we think about it. Yes, the man and the woman are involved and part of that and providing the egg and the sperm, but God is the one that ultimately gives life and puts a spirit in that egg and sperm that ultimately becomes a living human being. So I think that's important to understand that. All right, and I know the debate is about when does life start, okay? And I think it's important to look at what God has to say. First of all, the Bible says in Exodus 20, thou shalt not kill or thou shalt not murder. That's one of the 10 commandments. God tells us that we should not murder, we should not kill. And when we look at that life that is inside of a woman, and it is a life because we know from technology, we know from medicine, that within 3 weeks, the circulatory system of that baby, is formed and the heart begins to beat. That's by day 21. There is a beating heart within that mother's womb. And so we're looking at a life, a real life with a beating heart. And then by week 5, you have movement within the mother's womb. So I think it's important to understand that baby is a real baby. It's not just a blob of tissue, It is a real living being with a beating heart by day 21. So I think it's important to understand that. And God says that we are created in His image. He tells us that we should not kill, thou shalt not murder. And when someone decides to have an abortion, they are making a decision then to kill that human being that is inside of them, that live being. Because if we're going to say that a person is not a person unless they can talk, or whatever the situation is, what if a person's in a coma? Or what if a person can't talk? And so, we have to be careful in saying, well, this defines a human being and this doesn't define a human being. That baby has a beating heart by day 21. And that baby is completely reliant upon its mother. And it's dependent upon its parents for protection and its mother to be there to protect it and to help it. And so that's important to understand. And certainly, of course, giving it the nutrients that it needs and all of that. And so that's important. And God also tells us, in the Bible, He says in Job 31, did not He that made me in the womb make him? And did not one fashion us in the womb? The Bible says that God made us in the womb. Jeremiah chapter 1 says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. God formed us in the belly. Psalms 139 is another good one. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee, when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. So God says that He is the one who formed us. He's the one who made us, and not only that, but all our members are written down in a book. Everything about us, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And so God is involved in the process of the making of a baby, not just the mom and the dad. Without God, you're not going to have life, okay? And yet it's God that is involved with that puts that soul, that spirit within that little baby and makes it a living being. Over 63 million babies have been killed since Roe versus Wade. that is more than a generation of people that have been killed, all right, through abortion. And that's not even counting the ones that haven't been reported, whether it's chemical abortion or, abortion by pill or whatever it might be. And I certainly sympathize with those women who've been raped or whatever the situation might be. It is very difficult, but it's important to understand that that baby, all right, inside of you, okay, all right, is from God. And that baby has rights as well. That is a living human being, and it deserves life just as much as you do.